Peach's Kitchen. So if you read the description, you know that today we're making pound cake. I'm talking about Peach's Kitchen famous pound cake. Yeah, famous babes. So we're making my peach cobbler pound cake. I'm so excited to be just sharing this recipe with you all and just recording myself doing it. If you haven't already, stop what you're doing, like and subscribe to my channel for more content, more free recipes, more tutorials, more me and Jesus, of course. So I'm going to start with just describing my ingredients, and then we're going to jump into creating this pound cake and show you all my steps and what I do. And you might see a couple oopsies because sometimes I do make oopsies in the kitchen. But if you watch my baking essentials video, you probably see a few essentials here. And when I said they were essentials, I meant it, y'all. So we have the bowls that were in that video, the salt, the butter, the sugar, the flour. When I say they're essentials, I'm serious. So without further ado, here is how to make my peach cobbler pound cake. Okay, so first thing I do when I make my peach cobbler pound cake, or really when I make any dessert recipe, I like to lay out my ingredients, get everything measured, put in their respective bowls so that when I'm going, I'm just grabbing, mixing, grabbing, mixing. So here I have 3 cups of flour mixed with a teaspoon of baking powder and half a teaspoon of salt. I have right here my 5 eggs all separated and put into this bowl. I have my peaches here because I'm going to season these up with some sugar, cinnamon, vanilla extract, lemon juice. It's going to be so good. And then I even prepped out my milk. So my ingredients, I use half a cup of heavy cream and half a cup of milk. So I have that here. Next step is that I'm going to cream together my sugar and my butter, so stay tuned for that. Alright, so in this bowl, in this mixing bowl, I have 3 cups of sugar and half a cup of brown sugar. So what I'm going to do is take my 1 cup of butter, aka 2 sticks of unsalted butter, and 8 teaspoons of Crisco, and I'm going to blend this together until it's nice, creamy, and airy. So what you see me doing here is I'm scraping the sides. So whenever you're making something in a mixer, you always want to make sure you're scraping the sides to get all your ingredients in. Alright, so our butter and sugar are really creamed and light and airy. So if you ever wonder, why do I have to cream the butter and sugar? Like, that's just an extra step. What that does is it actually helps the sugar incorporate throughout all the butter so that every piece of your cake that you eat has some sugar to it. And also it creates volume and air so that when you're baking, things can rise and they blend together more beautifully. So don't skip this step because it's important. So it should be nice and airy. When you move it, it should just move so easily. Let me show you what it looks like. See, this is nice and creamed, airy, all of those things. So now I'm just going to scrape the sides, make sure we get all the goods. Okay, so next we're going to add in our eggs one by one to the batter. So you're going to grab your bowl and then just add an egg, mix, add an egg, mix. Without the spoon in the bowl, of course. And if 2 eggs drop in, that's okay. You really want to do them one by one just so that all the egg can incorporate throughout. But sometimes 2 drop in, that's okay. Don't stress about it. It's also important here that you turn the mixer off and you add another egg as soon as you see that the prior egg is thoroughly mixed throughout. You don't want to overbeat your batter and your eggs, but you also want to make sure that everything is throughout the entire batter. So I stopped because I stopped seeing a lot of the egg yolk, the yellow bright egg yolk, because it was being mixed throughout. So that means I can add another egg. So it's important when you mix and when you're scraping the sides with a batter like pound cake that's going to be so thick, you want to make sure that you're scooping to the bottom and trying to make sure that stuff that's at the bottom gets to the top. All right, so now that everything is mixed together, what we're going to do is alternate our dry and our wet ingredients. So what you're going to see me do is pour some flour, then pour some milk, mix it, scrape the sides, do it from bottom up, and then do that all over again until all your wet and dry ingredients are mixed in. Then I'll add my vanilla extract, my almond extract, my lemon juice, and our batter should be ready. Alright, so our batter is finished. As you can see, it's super thick. Pound cake is a thick girl. So now that our batter is finished, I'm just going to let this sit over here. I'm going to preheat my oven to 325 degrees and I'm going to go ahead and start working on my peaches. See you soon. Alright, so now we're going to make our peach cobbler mix. So for this, I don't typically measure a lot. I kind of just eyeball it, taste as I go. It's really simple to make. So in your bowl, you want to add some peaches. I also have some chunks of butter in there, maybe like 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of butter. So you just want to mix that together. And then you just want to go in with some cinnamon. Because what's peach cobbler without cinnamon? I don't know. I think it's just peaches. You want to add some nutmeg, some vanilla extract, a little lemon juice, shake it up. Do y'all remember when I made that salmon and I shook the lemon juice and the top wasn't on? That was terrible. So just a little lemon juice. Like I said, I don't really measure. Some brown sugar to your liking is how I call this measurement. To your liking. And then white sugar. And then you just want to mix that together. And your peaches, they should have started off like orange, yellow. By the time you've done this, you know it's right when they kind of like more of like a burnt orange. They got some brown highlights. Like that's how you know this is ready. And of course, taste. Just mix that up. And so what you have now is your seasoned peaches. Yes, I season them with sweets. Seasoning don't just mean salt and pepper. It means sugar and butter too. So I like to just taste this. It's given. So boom, you got your peach mix. So then what you're going to do, you want to prepare your bundt pan. So you can use mini bundt pans, you can use large bundt pans, you can even use a loaf pan if you want it. So to prepare, I have some Baker's Joy and then I have some flour. So what you want to do is spray the pan with Baker's Joy and then put some flour in it and move it around. And I'm going to show you how. Alright, so my bundt pans are nice and sprayed and floured and all that. So we're ready to bake. So in order to put this together, what you're going to do is just take some peaches, line the bottom, and then you're going to put your batter over top of it. And you want to make sure that you don't put too much juice at the bottom, but if a little gets in there, that's okay. Alright, so we see our peaches are all lined the bottom for both pans. So you really just want to make sure the bottom is covered because it's going to make this nice, pretty peach tops. Alright, so then you want to get your batter and you want to put your batter in the pans. And you want to fill them about 3/4 of the way because it will rise because of that baking powder. Once it's about 3/4 full, I just smooth it out. Alright, so we have both of our bundt cakes. So you see that I have a lot of batter left over. The recipe that I showed you is actually what I use for my full-size bundt cakes. So that typically makes about 1 full-size bundt cake in one of these. But because I'm doing minis, I have a lot more batter left, as you can see. So I'm going to put these in the oven for 1 hour, and then I'll come back when it's finished, and I'll be topping it with some cream cheese glaze that I have made. If you need a cream cheese glaze recipe, go go to my Instagram. You can find one there. It's so simple. All you need is some softened cream cheese, powdered sugar, a little bit of milk. Blend it all together. I also like to add a little vanilla. Sometimes I add cinnamon depending on how I'm feeling. Blend it until it's a nice, smooth, runny but thick type of consistency. And then you have your cream cheese glaze. But I'm going to put these in the oven and I'll be back. Alright, so our cakes are out of the oven. They've been cooling down. We have our nice cream cheese glaze right here. So what I'm going to do is just show you how I flip the cakes, put the glaze on them, and then boom, you have your own peach cobbler pound cake. So first things first, I always let the cakes cool like 15 to 20 minutes. These cakes are still a little warm, but that's okay. So I'm actually going to start with the little one first. So I always usually put these on a cake round, or you use one of these, but I'm going to put this on a cake round first and then flip it over, or you can use a plate. Sometimes I do that if I have a nice flat plate. So you want to take it, flip it. And then what I like to do is I like to pat around just to help loosen it up. So light pats, and then you want to gently lift it up. And so as you can see, there's some peaches. Oops. As you can see, there's still some peaches left in here. So what I like to do is I just grab those peaches and I just put them on the cake. Just fill them in. And what putting the peaches at the bottom does, it makes them super soft. Soaks in all of that juice, that cake batter, everything. So they're super soft, easy to bite into. And so anywhere where a peach might go, just pop it in there. Okay, so boom, here we have our mini peach cobbler cake. Real cute. Let me get y'all close up. Yeah, I know it looks good. So I'm going to clean my hands off real quick, and then I'm going to put some glaze on it. All right, so I cleaned my hands. Now I'm going to put some glaze. And so this, if you have a bottle like this, I would say this is the best. For me, it just makes it super easy to put the glaze on. I just, you know, doodles down, whatever the case is. If you don't have a bottle like this, you can use a spoon, scoop some, and drizzle it over. But I have my bottle, so first I make sure this is nice and tight because I don't need all of the icing falling off. And I just give it a little shake, and then boom, just glaze it. And the thing that I love the most about pound cakes is that you don't need a lot of icing. So with cakes, you have to ice that whole thing if you want it to look good. But with pound cakes, all you need is a little sprinkle. And boom, so here we have a Keys Kitchen Peach Cobbler Pound Cake. All you need is a little sprinkle and boom. So here we have our Keys Kitchen Peach Cobbler Pound Cake. Get into her. Yeah, she looks good. So what I'm going to do is do the same thing to this cake, and then I'm going to enjoy them. Really, I'm not going to enjoy them. I'm going to give them to someone, but they probably might let me have a piece. So either way, I'm going to enjoy it. I enjoy making this video. I enjoyed y'all watching me make my famous pound cakes. If you haven't tried or made this peach cobbler pound cake, please do. It's so good. It's delicious. I love it so much. I hope you love it too. If you've had this before, please tell us in the comments what you think of it. How was it for you? I already know it was good because you told me. But yeah, thank y'all for watching Keys Kitchen. Can't wait to see y'all again next week for more and more recipes, food, fun, and faith. So see y'all. Bye.